Dear ACHEMA Pulse guests, welcome to the next session of Festo. Hello, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to the absolutely right time. We're about to focus on a very important topic. We are focusing on MTP, the modular type package, which is one of the key technologies for modular production. My name is Dorothy Gelmar, and I will take all the questions you have during this presentation and hand the questions over directly live here in this session to our experts. So take the chance to interact with us. And who are the experts? They are here. It's Alex Kehl and Valentin Buleac. Hello, gentlemen.
Hello, everybody.
Are you prepared for the questions of our audience?
Yes, we're very concerned about the questions.
And we are curious about all the information that you have for us, so let's go.
Thank you.
Hello, everybody. My name is Valentin Buleac. I'm the product manager for the PA Toolkit, and I'm happy to have you with us here into this presentation.
Hello from my side. My name is Alex Kehl. I'm working at Festo in the pre-development department for digital engineering, and we're concerning with the efficient engineering during the design of process modules. And now we have some highlights prepared for you. So we're going to have a deep look into the module type package as a key technology for the modular production. We're going to have a look into the application that you see right behind me. And we're going to listen to a voice of our customers, give a feedback about the current status of modularization in the process industries. So starting with that, Valentin, can you give us an insight about what modularization is all about and why is it necessary to have?
Yes, I will try to explain that to you. So let's imagine that we are not talking about automation of plants, that we are thinking about a general normal business that maybe probably every one of you knows. Let's take a carpenter business. And let's also suppose that this business is starting with one person. So it's a one-man show business at the beginning. And we all agree that this person can do all the tasks, can perform all the tasks that are necessary for his business. But what happens if the company grows bigger? Well, there will come a time when this one person will probably not have enough time to perform all the tasks. This person needs also to go into to develop different other skills, to go into marketing. So these are all skills or tasks that require a lot of time, and this time is really it will become a very rare a feature for the business. So what does this person do in the end? He will take some associates or so different other persons with different special skills in order to do the required tasks to perform the functions so that the business can still run and maybe even grow bigger and higher. So now, if we go from this point into the automation business, and let's start with the left side of this slide. We have a small plant or a package unit, a skid, however you like to call it. And I think we all agree that the automation of this plant can be performed by just one controller. There are a couple of sensors, a couple of actuators, so there is not a really big deal that the controller has to do in this case. And if we take a look at the right side of the slide, we agree that this plant is a lot more complicated. And there will come a time in designing of plants when just one controller is not able to perform all the required tasks in the required time. So we are here in process automation and or process industry, and it is not so relevant how fast a task can be performed, but we need, let's say, every second we need one value from one sensor. So this is a hard requirement in the DCS industry and process industry. So one controller will probably not have the time to perform everything in the required time. So what happens is that this plant is divided into so-called process cells, and these cells are controlled by different controllers, usually DCS controllers, so the big controllers that we all know from the process industry. And you might ask now, well, if we already do that today, can we split these process cells even further? The answer is yes and no. So sometimes it does make sense to do that. Sometimes it simply doesn't make any sense any longer, because you do not want to control one valve with one controller. So that's too much. So really good care needs to be taken at the beginning when designing a plant. Now, if we are looking in the upper corner of this PNID, we see a reactor. And in many cases in the industry, we still find this monolithic reactor. So these are really huge reactors. We're talking about hundreds of cubic meters reactors, and they are not very flexible. So if you need to do any changes in your production, this is something that would require a lot of manufacturing to be able to restructure the whole plant. And in that case, modularization would make sense, because if you are using smaller reactors, you could have in the end the same production as a big reactor, but you divide it on several smaller reactors. And another advantage is that you could really, as an end customer, you could order these different reactors or these different package units from different manufacturers. So they can be built at the same time, and the startup of the plant can really be faster than using a big monolithic structure. So yes, we can divide this plant even further. And when we do that, as I mentioned before, because this will probably be the case, that these different parts of the plant are coming from different manufacturers and they are using different controllers from different companies. There is one thing that we need to take care about. It's the communication between the different cells, different package units, and the main controller or the main system. And this is something that is very important when we are talking about plant automation. So that being said, the question is there anything going on that can support us or can support the manufacturers, the end users, into getting rid of these communication problems? Alex, is there anything going on?
Yes, there is something going on, and it's called module type package. So taking your example of a small business, we all know that in big businesses we have many people, specialists, expert working, and in companies we have special languages. So we have a company-owned language which everybody understands and which is established during the time of the work. In technical systems, we don't have this time. We have to predefine this language in order to make every control in the field being able to interoperate with this above-lying control system. And having a look into the module type package, as mentioned, it is a technology under standardization currently. It is manufacturer independent, and it provides an interface specification specifically for controllers in the field, splitting the automation systems and making them interoperable. It is based on OPC-UA communication, and it provides a standard automation ML file where we can describe the interfaces, so we can provide the functionalities provided by the module to the plant operator. Having a deeper look into the workflow of modular automation, we see that we now separate the engineering from the entire plant towards the module engineering. So on the left-hand side, we see that modules are being engineered, and at the end of the engineering, we have a finished module and the module type package as an automation ML file, where it's precisely described how to interact with this module. On the plant operating side, on the right-hand side, we see that we can now integrate this module type package with an easy import mechanism and have all the functionalities available in the process orchestration layer, where we can interoperate, start our production, and read the values coming from the field. I want to go into two details about the module type package. The one thing is the HMIs, the human-machine interface. And module type package is harmonizing the view of the modules, how they are displayed in the process orchestration layer. So in this example, we see one module visualized in 3 different process orchestration layers, but with the same, exactly the same MTP file. This means that the visualization is done accordingly to the chosen process orchestration layer, and on that reason, it is always the same for every module being integrated in this layer. Another very important aspect is the process orchestration in terms of services. We call it services. It is meant to be a process functionality that is offered by a process module. So in our example, we can think of a reaction process. So the module itself with the reactor is offering a reaction service that we can call from the process orchestration layer. We can start, stop, pause it, abort it, and the interfaces to do so, they are always the same independently of the module and the module vendor. So here we see 3 different modules offering those services. So the complexity of the skill of the process functionality of the module is encapsulated and therefore easy to work with. I want to go into a little more details about these services, since it's that important for the module type package. We see here the ISO 88 compliant state machine of a service, and every service, independently of its process functionality, will follow this state machine. There are a lot of details, so we're not going into every step, but for a smooth running service, we can think about this, these stages inside the state machine. We start in idle, where nothing is happening. The module is offering its service that we can call by starting the service, which will then lead the module to do all the necessary operations to get into interaction with the required components, and then execute the service according to the procedures that are implemented in the module. After the completion, we can see that this stage completed is then communicated to the process orchestration layer, telling that the following steps can now be done. Now I want to take you to our example process, a module that we built up here. So we see a chemical reactor. We have in the center a reactor. We have a lot of equipment, meaning sensors. We have valves for the inlets. And we have the possibility to interact with our chemical reactor with an HMI. So we're not going into details about this, but we can start our reaction. We see that the reactor is being filled with the liquids, and we start that the stirrer and the heating is now starting the reaction of the chemicals. So we have the necessary interfaces available to interact with our module. Those are all MTP compliant. And we have the brain of the module within this cabinet. So we see that we have a valve terminal here. We have the electric automation, the pneumatic automation, and most essentially the controller, the CPX-CEC in front, where all the interfaces are being provided, and the execution, the intelligence of the module is being available. So now back to you, Valentin, with the question, what do I have to do to make all those interfaces MTP compliant?
Well, the advantage of our platforms is that both these IP65 platform and the IP20 platform that we have, so the CPX and CPXE platforms. They do have controllers available, and these controllers can be programmed with our PA toolkit. So that is a code assist library that we developed especially for this MTP standard, or which complies to the MTP standard. And both of these platforms can be used in order to automate the package unit, the skit that you are producing. And talking about the PA toolkit, I would like to show you now how this is working. So I will go to my environment system. So this is our code assist environment system, and what you have just seen now on the tablet that Alex was using is in fact the visualization that we have here. So if you are accustomed with the code assist, this is nothing new for you, how this is really working. We of course need, at the beginning we need a program. This is the logic where everything is being handled in the package unit, and this is something very easy and straightforward to program in code assist. So we simply drag and drop one certain function block, and we need to tell the function block what it should represent. So this is something that we can grab from our library. So this is in this case I will just grab an analog function block, and it can represent anything that we like to. So this is usually a sensor that we have on our package unit. So by parameterizing this function block, I can decide that it is a temperature sensor or a flow meter or whatever you want to read and to operate from your controller. So this is the logic part of the business. We have a lot, of course, the visualization, because this is something, this is the only portion of this programming that an operator usually sees. So this is where we interact with the package unit, and this goes exactly as easy. We simply drag one symbol on our visualization graphic, on our process graphic. I will just look now for the analog monitor, and we have, in this case, we have 4 different types of visualization symbols, and I place it on the graphic and tell it to which function block it should connect to, and that's it. So this was our first visualization, or our first application, sorry. What you see here, maybe this is also worth mentioning, this is the interface to the services that Alex was talking about. So this is where you can start this state machine, the service or the procedure which is programmed inside the controller. One other thing that we need to mention is how is this interface then being forwarded to the controller or to the DCS system, to the process orchestration system. Well, we do that by exporting from this code assist project, by exporting the desired and the required interfaces. So in this case, we only have one interface, one process graphic in the application, and this is what I would be able to export. If you do not want to export all the interfaces to the process orchestration layer, then you are able to export just the service interface. So that would be this this single symbol that you see here, and this gives you the ability to give away a black box, in fact, to the end customer, and just forward the interface to the functions of this package unit. And I think, Alex, that you have an example for us where this has been already done and performed.
Yes, exactly. We have we have used this technology in a project with Invite, where we used existing products to implement modules and to integrate them in a process orchestration layer and show the current status and the functionality of the module type package. And with many thanks to Alexander Wittenbrink from Invite, we are able to film some impressions about this project and to get his feedback about it and about the current status of the standardization. Let's have a look into it. I have a minor problem to start the video. I hope it will start now.
My name is Alexander Wittenbrink. I'm automation engineer at Invite. Invite is a research center and open innovation platform located in Kempark Leverkusen. We are a Bayer subsidiary and we conduct projects in the field of life science and process industry. Modular engineering is in the DNA of Invite because right from the beginning in 2010 we are conducting projects in the field of modular engineering, and now we are focusing on the Namur MTP and modular automation. The target of this project was to demonstrate a practical approach of the module type package. So our target is always to accelerate the rollout of new digital technologies, and this is why we wanted to build a pilot plant where we showcase how the Namur MTP actually works. Festo is a well-renowned partner in the field of modular automation, and we as Invite also had very good experience working with Festo, and this is why we choose Festo in this project as a partner. We used the CPX module as the controller for our module, and the module type package was designed with the PA toolkit, which we then integrated in our orchestration layer. In the beginning, we had some technical difficulties importing the module type package because of technical specification which were outside of the MTP standard. But with the help of Festo, we were able to overcome those challenges, and in the end, the import was a great success.
Now, since 5 years, we are one of the major forces supporting the MTP standardization within the ZVEI to enable the MTP standard for production modules. And for sure, in future, we will also support the additional parts of the MTP standard, which will come soon. And you have seen our PLC is currently already supporting the current version of the MTP to enable the full interoperability between a production module and a DCS, or an orchestration layer.
The MTP contains of several parts like HMI integration and services. The Festo MTP could already provide those parts. Unfortunately, the orchestration layer were not able to support the service function, but we could demonstrate how the HMI import works. If we want to use MTP today, we need some important functions like safety, which are still under development in the standardization process, so we probably have to wait for this first. In the future, the process owner will be able to choose his unit operations in a module catalog, and then will be able to configure his process plant according to those modules. This will save a lot of time in integration and commissioning, which then leads to reduced time to market. and he has more flexibility and efficiency. The collaboration with Festo was very successful. They were always available on short notice. They brought the right experts for modular automation, and we are looking forward to the next projects.
And pictures say more than 1,000 words. Thank you very much for the insights and also for that film. And thank you, dear guests, for your questions. We received ones, and I'd like to pass them to you, Valentin and Alex. The first question is, does MTP standardize the mechanical interface specifications, such as dimensions, piping, mounting positions, etc., between modules and or between module and backbone? And if mechanical interface specifications are scope of MTP, is it possible to obtain the information about them? Long question. We have 4 minutes to go. Long answer is okay.
Alex, would you
Thanks,
like?
very interesting questions. The short answer is no. MTP does not concern with the mechanical interfaces, especially for the automation interfaces, so to say, how to interact on an OPC base with a controller and have knowledge about what functionalities will be available and can be triggered. Indeed, it is very important to have also the mechanical standards for the interfaces. There are groups concerned with this question, but it is not focused and not part of the MTP. But as mentioned, there are groups working on it, so I expect that there will be a broad standard on this as well.
Great. Second question, thanks to Pablo for that, who sent this. Do you guarantee interoperability with Siemens and others?
I think that's again a question for me. Yes, that's the idea of module type package. Siemens and others, they are part of this standardization. They work in the standardization groups and the committees. So there is a strong focus on have this interoperability with other systems. So short answer here would be yes.
Okay, yes, it's what we want to hear. Ladies and gentlemen, we have 2.5 minutes to go. So if there is a question, just type it in. It will appear soon here and I can hand them over. So use the chance, interact with us. Next question, it is, when will MTP reach a significant market penetration and which Festo controller is compatible with MTP?
Okay.
Festo controllers, that's for you.
That's a question for both of us.
Yes.
So Valentin's turn.
So, well, the controllers that we have at Festo are for both of our platforms. So we have the IP67, 6567 platform, and we have controllers for that platform. And we have the IP20 platform, the CPXE, and we have different controllers for that platform as well. So these are, at the time being, the two different platforms that support the MTP, the PA toolkit and therefore the MTP standard. But I can tell you that there are still some other controllers to come in the future.
Perfect. So future is going to be exciting. I just double check if we received another question. We didn't, but the good
We
thing,
missed one answer.
yeah,
Yes,
Yeah,
you missed
come
the
on.
answer about the market penetration.
Exactly.
good that you recognize this. So what is the answer?
The answer was we expect it in the next year. So MTP is nothing that the providers of automation systems established, but that was recommended by the NAMUR. We see also already operators and users of this technology being very interested, starting projects, and having also their new plants equipped with OPC servers, enabling the MTP technology. So we expect it to be in a market penetration for the next years.
Great. And the good thing is, even if our session is over now, you have the opportunity to get into interaction with our experts, with Valentin Buleac and Alex Kehl, and for sure also with all the other colleagues from around the globe answering your questions. Use the chat function. We have video calls. We have calls. You can write us an email. We would love to interact with you, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks a lot for your attention. See you hopefully in the next session here at ACHEMA Pulse. And thanks to Valentin and Alex. Bye-bye.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Bye.
Bye.